trying to come up with a new intro. I'm trying to come up with a new intro here. Well, at least it's another episode of homework workouts, right? So we might just get started.
Good.
That's good. He's always happy. That's so nice. Okay. Okay, something different here because we're going to start off right away. Now, I'm going to explain to you how to set your timer for this app warm-up that we will do right now. You want to set your timer at EMOM. So we're going to work on a minute. It looks slightly different in the app, but this is exactly how it's going to run. We're going to have 1 minute of a plank. That's minute number 1. In minute number 2, you're going to have 15 seconds of rest, 30 seconds of toe touches, and 15 seconds of rest. That makes another minute. Minute number 3 will be complete rest, which you will need after a couple of rounds. Because how many rounds will do this? 3 in total. That means 9 minutes on the interval timer. We're going to have Sval ready here, and we're going to have Ben ready here, and they're going to start right out with you. So go off your couch, or go at your chair, get to the floor, and get ready for a plank. Now in the plank, Ben is going to do elbows, Sval is going to do hands. The idea is very simple. We have our shoulders stacked on our elbow on the wrist or elbow on the floor, and we try to keep our hips in line with the shoulder. We start in 10 seconds, and they just did more work for you guys so you can see it. It's that simple. 3, 2, 1. And our minute here is running, and your minute at home is running as well. So let's keep counting. Now, what I always like to see in the plank is that we actually actively keep pushing through, which is something that we'll do, I think, in another workout somewhere coming up in a couple of days. So we actively keep pressing the shoulders towards the ceiling. So we're 20 seconds down. That's nice, Benny. That's good. Now, if your shoulders lit up a little bit too much here, you can always go for the elbow plank. If you're fully comfortable with that, you can go for the plank on long arms. We pass the halfway point. And then on the beep at home, you don't start right away. You have 15 seconds to get into position for toe touches, which is on your back with your feet pointing to the ceiling. We have 10 seconds. And 3, 2, 1. All right, let's turn over, guys. We got 15 seconds to get into position. Let's get our legs up in the air. Let's get them pointing to the ceiling. And let's start reaching in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Game time. 30 seconds of reaching. Now, the idea is simple. Shoulder blades should actually stay off the floor throughout. If you do that, you actually allow your lower back to stay pinched into the floor, which first of all protects the lower back, but it also helps with keeping your abs to work and properly. So we need the function here of spine flexion, which is pure abdominal muscles working here. It's that crunching moment we're looking for, the crunching movement. We got 5 more seconds before we have 15 seconds of transition. 2, 1, break. That was good. Now, clock's going on for another 10. So somewhere in my little talk, you're going to hear the beep. And that beep means that this second minute of the EMOM timer is over as well. That is good. Now, a minute of rest starts right now. You might be like, why am I resting right now? If you want to do something else, throw in some jumping jacks to get the heart rate up. I recommend you to rest and then do 2 more rounds of this right after. Good luck. Our second part has 3 movements, which we'll show you in 2 little shots here. The first one will be about the lunges. What we'll do with the lunges, we'll step forward with a certain leg, and we try to twist our upper body over that front leg to get a better stretch at the back hip flexor, right? That's good. We alternate that for, I think it's about 6 steps. Then the second movement, we'll be doing shoulder taps, which we're going to try to do with the feet all the way together, which is very hard. Easy, no easy. Easy is when you go a bit wider, and you're going to cross tap the shoulder slowly, not fast, slowly. Then upon completion of the 12th rep, you do a very, very slow, what we call eccentric push-up, which is only moving the body down as slow as possible and very, very comfortable. You can always press back up. Okay? Now let's have a look at the 2 different shots here, the 3 different movements with Sval and Ben. So you guys go stand, feet underneath the hips. We're going to start with stepping with the right leg forward to get a good big step and getting the twist over that leg. Boom, going back in. Now they're holding that position for a good 2 seconds or something. It's a quick 1, 2, and they come back and do this for a couple of reps. Now if you have old man knees, you make sure your back knee hits a soft object instead of the floor. What you can also do, funny enough, to make it harder, is to keep the knee off the floor a tiny bit. That is actually making it way more difficult. It's a good one to do. You guys are good here. Nice. Now, the second movement is going to be in that plank, and this plank will be on long arms. So gentlemen, both of you, please go on a plank on long arms at home. Try this out with us. We're going to start off with the right arm going to the left shoulder. Now Ben has his feet a bit wider, Sval has his feet a bit more narrow, so Sval has a more challenging stance here because of the balance aspect. And Ben is slightly easier. He can very much focus on just the core and the shoulders doing the work. Now I have no clue where they are. I'm going to cut them off right now. You guys stay in plank. Set yourself up for a push-up, and they're going to give you the slowest push-up of their life on the way down. Let's go, gentlemen. Now, at home, the challenge is not to scale this to the knees. The challenge is to just make this as controlled as possible on the way down, to keep tension as long as possible, because you don't have to come up. Ben can just worm himself back into plank, which is all good, and then he's done with this rep, because he only has to do one, and he can wait up, and Sval is done, and he tried to actually press himself up there. That was good. Okay, we just showed you 3 different movements, of which the last 2 are combined into one. We're going to now hit this in a Quality AMRAP style right in the middle of today's session, which will be 6 of the lunge steps with a twist in there, then 12 shoulder taps, and after the 12th tap, you stay there for a second, you start the slowest push-up of your life, and the challenge is just to make every round a tiny bit slower. Right? Now, just 5 minutes of this, it won't be a lot of rounds, but it will be a lot of quality, that's for sure. Sval and Ben are ready to start. I know you are ready to start, so let's get ready. Start in 10 seconds with it. We start off with the right leg in the lunge. At home, if you're starting, maybe you want to start off in the same leg. 3, 2, 1, let's go. So a big step, a twist over the front leg, you come back. So the idea is to twist the torso over the outward stepping leg, to get a better stretch on the back hip flexor. That is good. So Ben is placing his knee on the floor. He can always place something soft underneath the knees if it hurts. At home you can do that as well. And Sval actually is keeping his knee slightly off the floor. Now normally you would think, hey, that's either cheating or it's easier, but no, it's actually harder than doing it with the knee on the floor there. Now they go to the shoulder taps. Ben has a nice wide base, makes it easier. Sval was fighting the balance a bit more, which is on purpose, by the way. He wants to challenge himself even in the shoulder tap. Then upon completion of 12, they set up for a push-up, and then we're going to see how slow this goes. Good. Now the idea is very simple. Ben is showing you the scaling. He did his push-up. He's going to come back up. He's going to start lunging again. And Sval is still doing the push-up. He's already 10 seconds in. And what Sval is going to try is when he hits the floor, if it works, he's going to try to push himself back up. That was 20 seconds on the way down, Sval. Good job, buddy. Boom! Like it's nothing. All right, that was great. So Sval did 21 or 22 seconds eccentric on the push-up. Maybe you guys can get like 30 or 40 seconds eccentric on a push-up. The more time you spend on the way down in the push-up, the less rounds you have to do. So, for our 15-minute AMRAP today, you're going to need 2 things, or 3 maybe. First of all, you're going to need a backpack. If you have a weight vest, use a weight vest. Make sure you can load up that backpack with some heavy stuff, because it's going to be even more fun when it's heavier. You're also going to need a set of bottles, or books, or maybe even dumbbells or plates or whatever you have that allows you to do front raises with for an unbroken set of 9. And we're going to go through back step lunges, push-ups and squats, all with the bag attached. And then we do front raises with the extra objects, but we're still going to keep the bag on. So the bag will stay on for 15 minutes. Make sure you properly strap it around the upper body. Okay? Let's have a look at Sval and Ben showing you the first movement of today. All right, so what we're going to do is gently step back with the right leg, gentlemen. Touch the floor with the back knee. Come back up and step. Here we go. Alternate legs. And you keep sitting as upright as you possibly can. I want you guys to look forward, keep the upper body nice and upright, and gently touch the back knee. Now, if you have something soft underneath your knees, I want you to place it there to protect the knees from hurting, because that's exactly what we need to happen here. Let's have a break, guys. Now, let's have a look at Ben. Injury options that we will provide for the lunges and the squats will all be just simple hinges. Ben is going to do a backstepping death march. So, back foot goes on the toe, hinge from the front leg, come back. Hinge. So the hinge is obviously from the hip, but he's going to find and try to look for the hamstring of the leg that is still standing firmly in front. So the knee of the front leg stays right on top of the ankle, it's not moving forward, and all the bending is going to be done from the hip. So we get hamstrings on the way down, glutes on the way up. Good job, Ben. Now, our second movement will be a push-up with the bag attached, which is great because we actually can load the push-up to make it a little bit spicier. Now, first of all, Sval and Ben, go to your regular plank, please. Gentlemen, just show me 3 reps of a proper push-up. Chest and thighs coming to the floor, keeping tension, pressing up, and never ever warming. You see that bag is popping full of stuff there, which looks great. Now, first thing that we look for is Ben here adjusting the scale by going onto the knees and still having the bag attached. So instead of making a plank from ankle to knee to hip to shoulder, he's making a plank from knee to hip to shoulder. Really focusing on keeping that in a nice and straight line, hitting all the other standards while going through the push-ups. That is nice, man. Now you can always use an external object to place your hands on to create elevation of the body to make that push-up slightly easier. Now, as if we were still in the warm-up and we had that super slow push-up and that was not doable for you because of the shoulder injury or a chest injury or a tricep injury, or you have it now with the push-up, we want to sub the 9 repetitions for not 9, but 10 repetitions of a mountain climber with the backpack on. So Ben is going to show you that. And I don't want this to be a very fast one, Ben, because you're going to wiggle too much with the back. 1, down, 2, down. You're going to do 10 alternating reps of this, which is 5 reps per leg, instead of doing 9 push-ups. Good job, Ben. That's an injury option, ladies and gentlemen, an injury option. Third movement is the back squat. With the back squat. So you're going to have that back strapped around the shoulders. You're going to get your regular squatting stance. You gentlemen start with a couple of slow reps on the squat, please, to show me how it looks like. Good. Now, as always, just hear me out for the 4 points. You're going to have point number 1, heel, big toe, little toe pressed in the floor. Point number 2, knee tracking the toe. Point number 3, sit your butt on your heels. Point number 4, stay as upright as you possibly can. Good job. Now, if we need to scale this due to an injury, and Ben is going to show you guys that you're going to place your feet in a hip width stance, or we just had shoulder width. You're going to unlock the knees, and he's going to do that same thing with the death march. He's going to hinge from the hip, but now he's using 2 legs at the same time. So we move from a unilateral first movement, or one-legged movement, or one limb movement, to a bilateral one, which is now 2 legs at the same time moving. Very good. That's the good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have a look at our 4th movement here. 4th movement is going to need the bottles. So, crack a bottle, ask about a lotto, start by the super lotto. You can hit the lotto. You're going to start with the bottles being right in front of the body, and you're going to lift up the bottles with straight arms. Here we go. Now, if you look at the difference here while they're moving, Sval is going to try to lift right above eye height, and then we call it peekaboo front raises. And Ben is going to go right to shoulder height. While they're raising up, 2 things to take into consideration. 1, keep your belly tight. Otherwise, you might arch and cheat using the arch. Second one you want to keep thinking about is, funny enough, keep the shoulders low instead of shrugging the shoulders, which would make the traps do a lot of work, and they already do a lot of work. Nice front raises, guys. And they're probably the easiest part in this workout, so if you can load those up, you need to load those up with something heavy. Now, for a final time, an injury option. For what? For the front raise. If your delt hurts there, or maybe the tendon of the bicep because of the angle you have there with the shoulder, then you might want to throw in the rear delt raise. Again, start in hinge, arms down, big raise with the shoulder. Boom, fly. They also got rear delt flies or reverse flies, rear delt raises, bend over lateral raises. Lots of names for the same movement here. Nice, Ben. Very nice rear delt raises. All pressing lower body and upper body in this workout. 15 minutes of what? 12 alternating back step lunges, then 9 push-ups, and then we're going to do 12 squats. And all these 3 movements, we're going to have loading of the additional backpack. Get that one make as heavy as possible. If you have a weight vest, use it. Then our 4th movement is bottle front raises. Get some more rear front delt work in, actually. Yeah, it's going to be good. And those 2 are going to interfere after a couple of rounds. And since it's a 15-minute workout, that interference will play a big role, specifically in the second half of the workout. Now, you're going to keep that backpack on for the entire 15 minutes. Sval's ready. Ben's ready. You are ready. Let's get started. I get very aggressive now. 10 seconds. And 3, 2, 1, and let's go. So they start with the right leg, stepping back. At home, I know you're starting now. I know you want to start picking up the pace from the get-go. I want to warn you guys, for doing this for 15 minutes straight, it will give a hell lot of leg burn here, and probably also a big shoulder burn. So you want to start off in a pace you can actually maintain for long. Your heart rate will probably stay pretty low throughout most part of this workout. And you're going to more suffer from muscle endurance and muscle fatigue than from actually having your heart rate go up very fast. But we'll save that for another workout, that's for sure. Boom. You can always hear what's in your back. I like how Ben is scaling to the knees and also taking quick breaks to get to the set of 9. You can see at Sval's push-up that he's actually loaded up the back, or he's still suffering from his 22-second eccentric push-up he did in part 2 of today's class. That's good. So 12 squats, nice and deep. Ideally, we aim to get the hip crease below the top of the knee, and that is, again, an ideal scenario for if you have proper mobility and mechanics. If not, you go as deep as you possibly can while maintaining control throughout the movement. So we're a little over a minute in, and now we're going to grab our bottles for 9 front raise. Gentlemen, keep your belly squeezed, keep your shoulders down, and keep moving here. So Sval's going to go peekaboo style, which means he always targets to look straight underneath the bottle. So the bottles go a little over eye height, and Ben just goes for shoulder height right away. So you should actually be able to just see right through his hands. That is good, buddy. So that took in between 1.5 minutes, and we're running up to the 2-minute time frame right now. So probably you're going to do about 6 to 7 rounds of this because you will slow down. You guys continue. Good luck and brace the pump. Boom.